Continuing CBS News 24/7 coverage of what happens in the Middle East. Breaking news, that ceasefire between Israel and Hezbollah, while at the same time planned talks between Iran and the U.S. are off. CBS News Chief White House correspondent Nancy Cordes joins us from Zurich, Switzerland, where those talks were supposed to happen, and the question of why negotiators still haven't rescheduled a date.
We're trying to figure out exactly when that's going to happen.
Vice President Vance hinted yesterday that the talks might be off, chalking it up to logistics.
It's not an easy country, Iran, to get out of.
But the new reports out of the Middle East that Iran actually backed out over Israel's strikes on Lebanon could help explain why Vance also lashed out at Israeli leaders.
Anybody in Israel who thinks their biggest problem is the president of the United States needs to wake up and smell the reality of the situation that country is in.
The relationship between this White House and its war partner, Israel, was once unshakable.
Whether we like it or not, this has been one of the greatest wartime presidents.
But the bonds have frayed in recent weeks as their war goals diverged.
Israel's fighting Hezbollah too long, and too many people are being killed.
Trump is also battling mounting domestic opposition to his deal because it front-loads financial rewards for Iran without securing many nuclear concessions.
This is an abject embarrassment to him on the global scale. He didn't accomplish anything in this.
History demonstrates that giving billions of dollars to theocratic lunatics who want to murder us is an exceptionally bad idea.
Trump insists it's a great deal.
It really probably is unconditional surrender. Yes, I think so.
In a new interview with Axios, he was asked what the war taught him about the limits of his power.
There are no limits. No, not. I haven't learned that lesson yet. I know there are, but there are no limits. We defeated them totally militarily.
Let's talk about this live to CBS News national security analyst and host of the School of War podcast, Aaron MacLean. Aaron, good to have you with us. So you hear the president there saying he feels like it's a big win. You hear somebody like Ted Cruz who has to say what he has to say. You could drive a truck through the disparity between those two statements. What say you?
There's a lot of tension right now with Republican hawks over the nature of this memorandum of understanding. They don't like a lot of what's in it. Senator Cruz pointed to the amount of money that Iran's going to get up front as a part of this deal because of sanctions waivers, amongst other measures. But then there's also this issue that the piece just pointed to about what's going on in Lebanon. Sort of remarkably, you might even say insanely, the first paragraph of the MOU requires the United States to bring about the end of hostilities in Lebanon, a war in which the United States is not a participant between two entities, Israel and Hezbollah, that are not parties to the MOU. So how the United States allowed itself to sign this document, which has this kind of obvious trap in it, is a little mystifying to me. And yet here we are. We did that, and now the Iranians are using it for leverage.
Is the subtext in that paragraph one? You and I both talked about it yesterday on the show. You've read it, so have I. That perhaps Hezbollah feels like the United States should sort of put some weight on Israel by perhaps pulling back some of the weaponry that goes to Israel.
Right. Well, so if the United States decided that we were actually going to bring about the end of hostilities in Lebanon, and Israel declined, which, by the way, I mean, I think Israel it's always conscious of trying to keep the Americans on side, but also it has its own security worldview from where it sits, its own regional considerations, the considerations, for example, Israelis who live in the northern part of the country right next to Hezbollah. So at the end of the day, what America says doesn't necessarily go in Jerusalem. So yes, you're right. I mean, at some point we would have to look to forms of leverage like withholding weapons transfers, things like that. But the Israelis, of course, have been dealing with an America that's increasingly reluctant to back them completely for several years now. So they've already taken measures to build some greater autonomy into their own war-making potential. Like the United States does not have total control or veto authority over Israel, which makes it even crazier that we agreed to this.
So I've been reading in some more prominent Jewish publications that are circulating today that there is a feeling, at least among some writers, that President Trump has failed Israel by making this deal. That has to weigh in heavy on his mind, given the fact that he has said in the past how great of partners Israel and the United States are.
The president has a pretty strong record when it comes to the issue of U.S. Israel relations. He's been very popular in Israel, and his policy has definitely tilted in the interests of Israel against the interests of its adversaries, like Iran, for example. That said, the last few weeks have been a head-spinning, period for those who, in particular in Israel, who strongly approved of the president, as he is wont to do on a variety of issues, has pulled essentially a kind of 180 from maximum pressure to include, a very violent military campaign in partnership with the Israelis targeting Iran, to now essentially signing up to a deal which requires him to restrain Israeli behavior to even enter into nuclear talks with Iran in the first place. It is head spinning, and I get why there would be a sense of disorientation about it.
Aaron MacLean, I'll be listening to your School of War podcast to keep caught up. Thank you so much. Always great to have you on CBS News 24/7. Thank you.